Ladies and gentlemen, may I request all of you to kindly be seated. My name is Srivatsava. I will be your host for the next 2 days. I will deliver a short speech as we welcome other distinguished guests of the inaugural session. World Sesame Conference 2022 is organized by Sesame Info, an information website owned by Eventel Global Advisory Private Limited, along with the support of the industry. The title sponsor of World Sesame Conference 2022 is Mamta Commodities. The diamond sponsor, Mast Kalanda Group of Companies. Welcome cocktail sponsor, ETG. Delegate badge sponsor, JKT Group of Companies. Lanyard sponsor, Talk Commodities. Lunch sponsor, NEC Century Exports Limited. Gala cocktail dinner sponsor, Agrico Marketing. Delegate kit sponsor, Padam Group. Associate sponsors, there are 3 of them, Afri Ventures, DSN Agro Commodities, and Alpha Group Agrox Gold Holding. Classic sponsors, there are 8 of them, I'll read out. Best Smart Solutions, Hakan, Valency, Lutheran World Relief, USDA, Goim Group, Samba Foods, Rainbow Seeds and Spices Private Limited, and Adroit. Health sponsor is Idayam. There are 5 supporting bodies for this conference: National Sesame Seed Association of Nigeria, Nigerian Export Promotion Council NEPC, Intercept Burkina Faso, Ethiopia Pulses Oil Seed Spices Products Exporters Association, EPOSPIA, and CAPEX from Paraguay. The media partners are Sesame World and GAIZ Global Ag Info. May I request all of you to put your hands together in thanking all our sponsors, partners, and the supporting bodies, please. As a part of this inaugural function, we have a special address from Mrs. Evelyn, Director, Product Development, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, immediately after my speech. This will be followed by a keynote address from the guest of honor and the chief guest of the day, Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayem, Executive Chairman and CEO, DMCC Authorities. Then we would have Mr. Tarun Chawla, Chief Operating Officer, Africa Pulses, Sesame and Peanuts at ETG, to provide an outlook on global sesame crop 2022-23. Last year, weather impacted sesame production in China, India, Sudan, Ethiopia, and to some extent in Nigeria as well. How is the scenario going to be in 2022? Just after the inaugural session, we would have experts share their perspective on various important origins regarding the crop situation in 2022. Likewise, the challenges faced by the trade will be discussed in the discussion 2 today before we break for lunch and thereafter go for a buyer-seller meet in the post-lunch session. Tomorrow we have 2 discussions. The first one is on understanding various sesame consumption markets, and the second one on the new technologies in production, processing, storing, and transit. We have 2 presentations lined up for tomorrow as well. As at the last count, we have a little over 260 delegates from 23 countries connected with production, processing, consumption of sesame seed. We have over 30 speakers lined up for today and tomorrow. The conference, as I have already read out, is supported by 20 sponsors, 6 supporting bodies, and 15 exhibitors. We thank each one of them, sponsors, partners, and supporting bodies, and I hope the conference will be very fruitful for them. This is a physical conference. However, we have the privilege of hosting some speakers online. We have in all about 4 speakers who will be connected to this conference online. Hope it would provide you with rich experience of their presence and valuable insight. The buyer-seller meetings are planned this afternoon. We have 14 tables. Our team would help you with fixing appointments with any one of the table owners. Each meeting is for about 10 minutes so that it gives opportunity for each one of us to meet as many as possible. This will allow maximum interaction. We have the gala dinner filled with entertainment planned for this evening. World Sesame Conference is our efforts to bring value chain participants together to discuss and shape the agenda for future, explore new business opportunities, resolve issues, and commit to the development agenda of the industry. Last time around, there was a call to address low productivity issue connected with Sesame industry. I am very happy to inform you, we have at least 3 speakers this time who would share their efforts in improving productivity in Sesame. With these words, I welcome you all once again and take this opportunity to introduce the first speaker for the inaugural function, Madam OBIDIKE Ifeyinwa Evelyn. Madam OBIDIKE Evelyn is currently the Director, Product Development Department of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. A Cochrane Fellow and an ex-British Chevening Scholar, Ma'am holds 2 decades of in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in managing developmental projects with strategic partners. Her commitment and dexterity in providing advisory and mentoring and hands-on training to SME startup and women exporters have recorded great success in accessing certified niche markets in more than 30 countries. She is also the Executive Secretary, ECOWAS Trade Promotion Organization Network. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together in welcoming Madam Evelyn to deliver a special address today.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Our special guest of honor, Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayem, the Executive Chairman and CEO, DMCC. You're highly welcome. The conveners of this and the sponsors of this Sesame Conference, participants, I welcome you all on behalf of the Executive Director and CEO, Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Thank you for this great privilege to give this special presentation on the emerging issues in Sesame, with particular reference to Nigeria. The demand for Sesame is growing every day. Unlike other crops, post-COVID, that of Sesame is growing very, very well, going with the awareness and the concern of consumers for producing and consuming healthy foods. The importance of Sesame cannot be overemphasized. It's because of its nutrition value and because of its versatile use in the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry, and also in the cosmetic industry, in wellness industry. So a lot is going on, and I must tell you that you are in the right industry. What are some of the concerns that we have seen in a few years? Some talk about climate change, yes, but I must appreciate the effort of the research industry in coming up with a lot of innovations and intelligent findings that have hitherto helped and taken care of that concern. And these days, even the water and everything can be predicted. So that is already taken care of. The export of Sesame has grown over the years. We have the Sudan, India, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Burma, Tanzania, Mozambique, China, Burkina Faso, Turkey, and a whole lot of other countries that have joined the bandwagon of exporters. And many more countries are also joining. So that will show you that there is profit, there is potential, there is the future in this industry. Of course, in what form can this be traded? Whether it is hauled, whether it is dehauled, whether it's in the oil industry, whether it is refined in various forms. It's used in confectionery, it's used every day in tahini in whatever form, it's used in body massage, it's used as skincare products, and that shows that this is the industry of the future and this is the industry of now. The market also is growing astronomically. Of course, we know that the COVID-19 disruptions of value chain brought about some price fluctuations, but this is already easing off. And some concerns in the previous years about salmonella is already taken care of with improved handling and improved integrated pest management system. So all those fears are already taken care of. And then the commitment of stakeholders in the industry. So there's nothing to worry about. But as a businessman and an entrepreneur, you would like to know what are the things factors driving this industry. Of course, we know that the consumption pattern is driving it astronomically. Yes, these days people want to eat healthy. The awareness is there. The advancement in innovations into the hybrid different species is there. It's also driving the industry. We have different varieties, we have different types, and it's being used in different forms. And these are the things that made one to know that we are in the right industry. Sesame is the way to go. Of course, there is commitment towards providing high quality certified products. I can give you an example with the Nigerian government. A lot is being done in collaboration with the World Trade Organization under the Standard and Trade Development Facility, STDF. We did one under STDF 172 project, whereby issues concerning poor handling at the farm gate we addressed. And also, we're also working currently to make sure that the issues of pesticide residue, all those ones are things of the past. So that gives hope. And there is a major and deliberate effort towards achieving certifications to ensure that the market is giving a product that is high quality. So we're working, addressing and facilitating the attainment of certifications. Talk about halal certification, yes. Talk about organic certification, yes. Talk about kosher certification, yes, and also fair trade. So these are some of the efforts that the Nigerian government has deliberately made to ensure that we give to our importers wholesome products, good products, niche products that is also sustainable. A lot is also being done to ensure traceability. Traceability has come to the limelight. Post-COVID, it is a very serious issue, and the government of Nigeria is already addressing it. It will interest you to know that to ensure that we attain efficiency in logistics, the Nigerian government has started opening what we call the export trade houses. The export trade houses are today, one is already open in Egypt and another one in Lome. But plans are on the way to open more export trade houses in China, in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, in Kenya, and other countries. What is the benefit of establishing export trade houses? Is to shorten the time it will take to move the products from Nigeria to their destination. Products are shipped ahead of time to these export trade houses that are, that are with full infrastructurally okay, and they are stored there, and the buyers, bringing it very close to the market, the buyers go there. Further processing will also be done in the export trade houses. And these are some of the openings that we want investors. We also want investors, the private sectors, to come and invest. You can collaborate with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council to establish an export trade house, whether in your country or in any major market, so that the products get shipped to you ahead of time and they will take care of the market. So this is a very good initiative, and we have started it, and we are looking at expanding to Kenya, to China, to Dubai, to Saudi Arabia, and other markets. Of course, why Nigeria? We have 26 states out of 36 in Nigeria that are producing sesame. The production has grown so enormous. And we are talking about cleaning centers. We have very good cleaning centers. We have very good machines for cleaning. And then, the federal government is also emphasizing value addition. So this is an attraction. And there are a lot of government incentives for any investor who wants to come in to further. The farm is there, the produce is there, the machines is there. Come and join us and let us further process, and then the sky is the limit. Sesame seed is one of the priority products that the Nigerian government is also promoting. There is a deliberate plan, what the government calls the zero oil plan. Over the years, Nigeria has depended on mono economy, relying on oil. But now we can see the variations and the fluctuations in the oil industry, in the oil prices, and the government is emphasizing now on zero oil, other products, and sesame is one of the leading products. So this is the right time to come in. And this is the right time to come and invest, and this is the right time to come and add value. We have farmers, we have organized farmers, we have the cooperatives, and we have the groups, and you have the federal government buying. Another interesting initiative to support the sector is what we call the domestic export warehouse deal. Some years back, there were some problems associated with delays in the port. This initiative has been put up by the federal government of Nigeria to address the delays of movement of containers at the port. What is domestic export warehouse? Domestic export warehouse is like a passive port, a dry port, scattered all over the 36 states, located all over the 36 states of the Federation. A mini port where investors, exporters can take their containers there, and it is inspected and it is sealed, and such containers will not be opened again from there on board the ship. So no more delays. No more delays at Apapa Port, no more delays at Incan Port. So this is a very novel initiative, and it is working. Domestic export warehouse. Of course, the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, is also supporting value addition. A lot of incentives are available. This is the right time to come. Like we said, we have the light, we have the product, and we invite every one of you to come. Our stand is out there. Come to Nigeria, add value, export, and more. Visit us, come and let us talk deal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful presentation on the opportunities in Nigeria. May I request you to kindly come to the center as we invite Mr. Saeed Al-Suwaidi to do us the honor of presenting a memento to Madam Evelyn. Kindly come on the stage, sir. We have the presence of the Director, Agri Commodities, DMCC. It is our honor to have him here on the stage to present the memento to our first speaker, Madam Evelyn. Welcome, sir. A big round of applause. A second hand. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The next speaker at the inaugural session is Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayem, Executive Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, the chief guest of the conference. Before I invite him, a brief introduction about Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayem. As I mentioned, he is the Executive Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of DMCC, and has driven its growth from a startup of 28 members in 2003 to a world-leading free zone in 2021 with over 21,000 member companies from 180 countries, employing over 65,000 people. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for this stunning and incredible achievement. Tasked with enhancing commodity trade flows to Dubai, DMCC has introduced to the market a number of value-added products and services under Mr. bin Sulayem's leadership. In 2021, DMCC has been named as the Global Free Zone of the Year by the Financial Times FDI magazine for a record 7th time consecutively. Mr. bin Sulayem oversaw the exponential growth of DMCC Free Zone master development in Jumeirah Lakes Towers, a 200-hectare business and residential community in Dubai of over 100,000 people living and working across 87 towers. Mr. bin Sulayem also oversees the development of DMCC's latest real estate project, the much-awaited Uptown Dubai District. Mr. bin Sulayem currently serves as the chairman of Dubai Diamond Exchange, DDE, and the Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange. With this introduction, it is our pleasure and honor to welcome Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayem, Executive Chairman and CEO, to deliver his keynote. Over to you, sir.
Thank you all. It's great to welcome you all after the COVID gap. I believe 2019 was the last Sesame conference in Turkey. You're in the right spot when you picked Dubai. I'd like to give also, before I start, special thanks to Vatsa and Ms. OBIDIKE, Ifeyinwa, Evelyn. Sesame has been a big part of DMCC. Some of our earliest members like Olam, Fortuna, Kahraman Agro, and Hakan Agro have been part of the DMCC growth at a very early stage. Hakan Agro, for those who know, has been a big supporter of DMCC in the pulses industry as well, and were the main reason that the Pulses Global GPC is based out of the Dubai Multi-Commodity Center. Before we looked at establishing our coffee center, that land was planned and discussed with Olam to create a white labeling facility and storage facility for Sesame. And according to, if I recall correctly at the time, that would have put the UAE in the top 6 exporters or re-exporters of Sesame. Olam decided to expand its facility somewhere between, I think, Singapore or Malaysia, I cannot recall. And I'm thankful for that because that opened the door for the coffee center today that's growing pretty fast. I bring this up because I'd like to give you an open invitation to visit our tea facility and coffee center as well, which provides white labeling, packaging, storage facilities, and in the case of the coffee center, roasting, in addition to training and competitions in barista training and roasting competitions as well. The reason for that is if we do approach the Sesame project again, it will be in a similar spirit, where it's a facility that white labels for SMEs, startups, and even the big players that do not want to invest too much in overheads and machinery use our machinery. For us, we do not see a huge risk in that because we will use this center for multiple members. It will be utilized around the clock. It is also important as a food security. I understand that, and the market changed since 2014 or 15 when we were looking at what option to utilize there. We've in 2020 August we've signed the UAE has signed the peace treaty with Israel, and since the Abrahamic Accord we have also another direct market that's big on sesame. Expect DMCC to grow on the agro side even more. I am gonna link up with other producers. Dubai is positioned perfectly between the two largest exporters of sesame, leading it to Sudan and then India. And our relationship with India and trade is growing phenomenally fast, especially after the CPA agreement. The tea center wouldn't be successful without the Indian market, nor would the diamond or gold market in DMCC. But I would assume the same we could say about the sesame industry. For those of you who haven't visited DMCC, I'd open that invitation. I've just met some of the delegates coming from Germany, and we've had in the tea center a strategic partnership with Gundlach, a packaging company known for food packaging, but mainly for a specialized market in tea tag printing. Each wheel of tea tags covers around 7 to 8 million cups of tea. And from that facility alone, the UAE, or that facility alone, produces about 1/3 of the world's tea tags. And that's something that we've added to our tea center. We see the advantages of it being there, but it's also a statement that this is the place to serve the region and markets, whether it's for redistribution or for more value addition within the UAE. I will not take too much time from your event today, but I would highly suggest you look into our website, dmcc.ae, or if you're also in the futures market, dgcx.ae. Myself, Saeed Al-Suwaid are here as well to engage with you during your break times. With that, I'd like to thank you.
Thank you so much. Chairman, kindly be 1 more minute on the stage, please. It was such a wonderful address, giving so much opportunities what Dubai and DMCC presents. May I request Mr. Suresh Parmar and Mihir Parmar of Mamta Commodities to kindly come on stage and do us the honor of presenting the memento to the Chairman, Executive Chairman and CEO DMCC, Mr. bin Sulayem. Chairman, India and Pakistan is celebrating 75 years of its independence. Chairman, sir, this is for the Chairman from Mamta Commodities. May I request Mihir to come on this side so that he'll have a good photo opportunity. Mihir on the right-hand side or left-hand side, yeah? Okay, good. Thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was the keynote from the Executive Chairman, DMCC, Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayem. With this, we go to the last part, but the most important for the trade is a special address from Mr. Tarun Chawla, Chief Operating Officer, Africa Pulses, Sesame and Peanuts. Mr. Tarun Chawla has been with ETG for over 4 years. Prior to that, Mr. Tarun Chawla was with Olam for 11 years, most of which was spent in China in the Sesame sector. Mr. Chawla has over 2 decades of experience, which involves living, traveling, and managing businesses in multiple geographies and cultures. Over the years, Mr. Chawla has worked on all the streams of value creation, which includes origination, supply chain, value addition, processing, and downstream. Mr. Tarun Chawla is a BE mechanical engineer and a postgraduate in international business from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, and has completed a program in leading strategic growth, business and administration from Columbia Business School. With this introduction, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together in welcoming Mr. Tarun Chawla of ETG. He will talk about global sesame crop scenario for 2022-23.
Thank you, Mr. Srivatsava, and thank you for such a nice introduction. So good morning, everyone, and would like to thank the chief guest from DMCC to come here and grace their presence with the Sesame conference. And before I start, I would like to congratulate the entire team of Sesame Information, Mr. Srivastava, Swapna, Karthik, and the rest of the team. You did a great job to bring all of us here after almost 3 years. COVID was a big disruption, and finally we can meet so many people in person after such a long gap. So, well done. So we'll start with the presentation. I'll give a global overview of the sesame market. To start with, a disclaimer. A safe harbor statement about these are just the views of trade and industry, and there is no recourse on. So what I'll cover today is the global supply. How does it look like in terms of sizable origins, the major origins of sesame. We'll cover, as we know, that sesame origins come in the southern hemisphere, which is the summer crop in Tanzania, Mozambique, and Indian summer crop, And then we have the northern hemisphere, which is the major supply source of sesame seeds from east to west. Then we'll cover a little bit about the demand in China and rest of the world, followed by the price trend and the near-term outlook of how the sesame market is poised. Global trade, if you can see, we have a trade flow of almost 1.6 to 1.7 million tons coming from all these major origins. Global trade has been pretty much stable, despite we have seen back-to-back black swan events of COVID happening, Russia-Ukraine conflict, and there are so many things as we speak which are uncertainties today in our global trade business. But we are still able to manage almost 1.6 to 1.7 million tons. This is coming out just from major origins. This coming year, we believe it will be almost similar, 1.6 million tons. We see a lot of shift happening from one origin to another. Nigeria, as we all know, has a very important origin of sesame seeds, and last year they exported almost 300,000 tons to China. They are an important origin for Turkey, and they're also exporting seeds to Japan. So their total exports is almost 400,000 tons plus, almost 450,000 tons. But that was one-off year, but I believe Nigeria will continue to export almost 300 to 350,000 tons year on year. India continues to be an important exporter of hulled sesame seeds, while they lost some of their share in Europe to Turkey and African exporters of sesame seeds. For the current marketing year, we have seen that Tanzania and Mozambique have some decline in the supply. This is what is factored in the prices today, which we'll talk in the coming slides also. Pakistan has made it to the major origin list. We've seen last year almost close to 100,000 tons of trade, largely to China, and then there is also going to other destinations in Iran and continuing to going to Japan and other destinations. But this year, I'm sure it will be much larger exports out of Pakistan, and still China being their major destination. We spoke briefly about Tanzania and Mozambique. These are the two southern hemisphere crops. Tanzania, the northern part of Tanzania, we had less supply, and that was evident in the prices. Southern hemisphere, the southern part of Tanzania, the crop was still good, and as we see, there is a lot of backward integration in the origination. We've seen a lot of buying agents coming from China and disrupting the trade, which is continuously happening in Tanzania. So it is working on a cost-plus model. So it is no more you cannot be on one side of the trade, like just as an exporter. So there is a growing need to be an integrated player from origin to destination, and that is what most of the industry participants are trying. Then we have the Tanzania auctions where the prices were surging during that time, and we saw trades happening almost at $1,600 to $1,700 CFR China port levels. Mozambique, we know that the Zimbabwe and Malawi, some of the crops gets added to the exports to Mozambique, but last 2-3 years Mozambique has been steady state 100,000 tons plus exports, but this year we may see a small decline. And more and more we have seen that earlier there was quite a decent split between Nacala port and Beira port, but now we have seen more and more dependence on Beira port for the exports of sesame seeds out of Mozambique. This is a very early indication of how things are looking. Northern hemisphere, if you look at from China, India, Sudan, Ethiopia, and the western part, which is largely Burkina and Nigeria, we believe that the total supply would be similar, and can be a little bit plus minus because of the weather anomalies. I think Mr. Srivatsava spoke in the morning also that weather has been a very erratic and has always changed the market outlook as we come closer to the harvest. So for now, it looks like all good. India may see a better crop than last year, given that there is more planting in UP and Rajasthan. West Africa, Burkina, we may see some decline because of the disturbances and political reasons where people could not go and plant sesame. And Ethiopia and Sudan, we probably will have an excess. How much is the excess? Only time will tell. These are very early indications. We can talk about demand now. China's demand has been a steady state million ton. What I would like to highlight here in this slide is that, see, Myanmar as an origin has always been exporting to China through border trade. So that supply was always there in China, whether it was coming through a border. But because of the COVID, most of the Myanmar supply started coming to the port, and they all started to add to our port supplies. So if we have to compare China this year versus the previous year, I think it's better to exclude Myanmar for a comparison. So if we do that, we see that China will have a decline in their imports in the second half of the year, and that is something which will keep this demand, which is the festival demand, as we see coming in China, which is largely skewed towards September, October, November, which helps them prepare for the festivals. Chinese New Year is also early next year, so all of that has to be factored in until December. So this is the short squeeze we have in China for now, where we can have, but Pakistan is near origin for them, where the low transit time and the supplies can come in September, October, but there is some fear of the rain damage, quality issues, and also the crop is good, but we will see how that pans out in terms of supplies reaching China. But with this phase, their dependence on Pakistan has increased, and anything which is not delayed in terms of shipments will cause some stress on the port stocks. And also, a lot of people have this notion that the international prices have any relation with the port stocks, which is the secondary market in China, but it is not exactly directly related to the stock inventory level. It is always the forward outlook of the market. If there are port stocks which are higher in number, but they're depleting, you will see the prices rally. And if the port stock stocks are, the forward outlook is not looking as bullish, then you will see the prices factored in at that time. So it is always the forward outlook, not just the current market scenario. Rest of the world demand, the last 3 years numbers, some of them are available, some of them we've just estimated basis what we know from the trade. It's almost 1 million tons, so it is very safe to say that it's more than 2 million tons of supply and demand we've seen, and 1 million ton goes to China and 1 million ton almost goes to other geographies. If we specifically speak about Japan, Japan has been a steady state, 160 to 180,000 tons. They had seen a 200,000 tons just because the prices were very attractive for them at that time. And also COVID impact is there, so which will be now easing out. So we can say 180,000 tons going to Japan steady state. We've seen Turkey imports growing, and we spoke about this earlier because Turkey is now importing and re-exporting, filling the gap which India created for the European market. Israel has been steady state importing and exporting tahina into the dip manufacturers and the hummus manufacturers into the US because they have the free trade agreement there. Middle East region largely imports from Sudan, India and Ethiopia. That has been a pretty stable region on almost 125 to 130,000 tons. Europe has been steady at 130,000 tons. We've seen Greece as a major leading importer of almost 35,000 tons. Among that 130,000 tons, they have a steady demand of tahina and halwa and sesame bars. Korea is stable because of their nature of trade. It's a restricted commodity and they do almost 80,000 tons. India remains an opportunistic buyer given they have any shortfall or if there is any price parity which they can leverage on. Interesting price trend. See, what happens in the sesame world is that most of the news, most of the crop gets factored in by April because we know what's happening in the northern hemisphere, and May, or the transition month is May. And interestingly, what I found, and which we can all notice here, is that beyond May, there is either a sharp correction on the prices, upward or downward, and it has become 4 years in a row, and even in the history, we see that reasons may be different, but beyond May, we see a lot of inflection point or a breakout point for the sesame prices. And I believe that kind of trend will continue as we, move into the gap period when this hits during the transition from the northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere. Where does the market stand today? We have China second half of the year imports will likely to reduce, which can result in the short squeeze for almost September, October, November. Tanzania, Mozambique, and India summer crop fear supplies are already factored in the price. Higher logistics cost is Mozambique specifically. Tanzania is still okay, where the cost of getting a container and then moving the cargo from Beira port is still very expensive. And so what are the bearish factors? China's, as we saw, is a 1 million ton market for sesame. And there is always, because of their very strict zero tolerance policies and abrupt lockdowns, we always have this fear mongering of what can happen. And then definitely, Pakistan has a good crop, a lot of uncertainty for now, but if they start offering at prices which are attractive, then we can see some pressure building on the prices as well. So given that all these factors, we still believe that the prices can remain firm for a period of September, October, November because of the way we are poised towards festival demands and the arrival patterns and the logistics, all of that factored in. But beyond that, we have a good supplies coming in and we can see some prices moving back and correcting beyond November, December. Thank you on behalf of the ETG for giving us this opportunity to present.
Thank you, Mr. Tarun Chawla. Can you please come on the stage in the center? May I also request the chief guest, Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayem, for your presence on the stage to give Mr. Tarun Chawla, Chief Operating Officer, ETG Group. Please come on the center, sir. Thank you so much, Chairman, sir. This was an excellent presentation. To start off, we would be having country-wise presentations very soon, and thereafter we will take the question answer. I request Mr. Tarun Chawla also to stay over and be there as a part of the question answer session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chairman, sir. One more